Yeah, they're.
Am I
Whoa.
supposed to just walk and start? Sorry, I don't have my stuff. Do you want me to go out again?
You just say hi and start here.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Longview.
Hi, Brittany.
Hi, Brittany Frenke with ADP. Do you mind if I take a seat?
Have a seat. Call me James.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I have a business card for you here.
Okay, thank you.
So
Here's mine.
Okay, thank you. So you can get a hold of me if you have any questions about anything.
Sounds good.
It looks like you have a full house out there. You seem to be pretty busy.
Restaurant business is busy, so we've kind of got this great business model. Things are cooking. We've got 10 stores generating a lot of revenue.
That's great. I actually worked at a restaurant in high school, so I know how stressful it can be during those busy times of the day.
Sure, sure.
And
That's good to know.
I appreciate you taking the advice of Dan to meet with me over from AB Bank.
Yes.
And I prepared an agenda today, so we can stick to it and you can get back to your busy life as a restaurant owner.
Okay.
I wanted to further understand your business and how it operates.
Okay.
Talk to you a little bit about ADP's services.
Yep.
And answer any questions you might have for me.
And get me a good price for the service if I decide to do it. Is that important too?
Of course. It's a very important part.
Okay.
So price is very important to you, I'm assuming?
Absolutely.
Okay. Is there anyone else who should be included in this meeting who's involved in payroll?
Yeah, Patty's my controller. She should have been here today, but she's kind of busy doing payroll right now. So.
Okay. Is there any way we could bring her into the meeting?
No, not really at this point in time. But, if I have enough interest in this, we certainly can get together with her in the future to see about doing this.
Okay, that sounds great. I saw from our CRM system that you were a past ADP customer about 5 years ago.
That's right.
Do you mind if I ask why you left?
Price.
Price?
We basically moved from ADP to Paychex because it was cheaper to do it at that time.
Uh-huh.
We were just a couple of stores,
Okay.
and calling in for just a couple of stores was pretty easy to do.
Okay.
What's happening right now with 10 stores and 300 employees is that the existing payroll system's becoming a little bit difficult to handle for Patty.
Okay. Would you mind walking me through your current payroll system?
Oh, okay. So that's a good question. Let me think about that for a second. So we have time card machines at each of the 10 restaurants. Okay, and there's a schedule that the managers make up each week, as you're probably familiar from being a server before. And that changes day to day and from time. So basically what the manager has to do every 2 weeks is compare the time cards to the schedules and all of that to make sure they're correct. Then each of those 10 managers will call Patty and call in the hours. And then Patty calls in the 300 hours to Paychex. Paychex cuts the checks and delivers them by courier to all the restaurants.
Well, it seems like a time-consuming process.
Yeah, it didn't seem so bad years ago, but it's getting to be a real pain in the ass right now.
Okay. Well, how many hours would you say Patty's spending per week on that process?
Oh, she does that work also by herself, but let me think about that for a second. In our last conversation, she said she was getting to be tied up about 8 hours every 2 weeks on it, so about 4 hours a week on
4
average.
hours a week.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the managers have to go through and check the hours and call them into Patty as well?
Well, they're going to be doing the scheduling anyways, regardless of the system that's used. But the idea of taking the time cards and comparing them to the schedule and all of that probably takes them extra hours. So maybe 2 hours, an hour a week.
An hour a week?
Yeah, an hour a week is my guess, my best guess on that.
And a question that I find really important to ask my clients is, what do you look for when choosing to work with a strategic business partner? What's something that's really important to you in building a relationship with someone?
Well, it's going to be able to grow with us, right? And also be able to make recommendations for our payroll systems, in terms of what your expertise is. Be able to work with our bank and be able to work with our accountants relative to all the issues that are involved in payroll. That's important to us. And then, provide customer service when there are issues with payrolls that we can't solve.
Okay. So from what we've talked about today, price seems to be a really big issue for you.
Always is.
Yeah, it's a big issue for everyone,
Yeah.
a lot of my clients, especially with today's economy. So I definitely understand your concern with that. And someone who can grow with your company and has a lot of knowledge about payroll is something also that you look for that's really important.
Yeah. That's true.
Wait, well, do you know very much about ADP?
No, have had very little contact in the last 5 years, other than the bank making the recommendation.
Okay, well,
Patty doesn't like you guys very much, by the way.
okay, is it because of a past experience she's had with us?
That's right. Previous
Okay.
customer service experience, not only the price, but that. So that's a little bit of what I have to convince her about if this ends up being a go for us.
Well, I'm really sorry about that. I apologize. Our customer service has improved over the past 5 years.
Okay.
We've actually grown to a 90% retention rate. Also, we were rated the world's most admired company by Fortune magazine, as you can see here.
Yeah.
So we process payroll for 1 in 6 employees in the United States.
Okay.
So we're definitely an expert on the subject, as you could say.
Okay.
And we've been around since 1949. We're definitely not going anywhere, and we've grown a lot, just as you have. And so I also wanted to talk to you about price.
Okay.
Do you mind if I ask how much you're paying for your current payroll? You're using Paychex, is that correct?
You know, I think Patty said something around $12,000 a year last time around I talked to her. That's basically the Paychex cost of cutting the checks and delivering them.
Okay. Well, I'd like to show you our run by ADP system.
Okay.
You said she's having difficulty keeping up with all 300 employees.
Yeah.
This system would greatly simplify her job. This is what her computer screen would look like. And so what she would do is click Run Payroll,
Mm-hmm.
and it would go to this screen, which has a list of all the employees and the hours they've worked. Your
Yeah.
employees are going to clock in and clock out, and instead of your managers having to call in those hours to Patty,
Mhm.
it's going to go straight to her computer screen.
Wow, so it's kind of integrated with some kind of new time card
Yes,
approach or something
It
like
is.
that? Oh.
And so everything will be connected. And so she'll just have to click Submit once she reviews their information.
Okay, and would the managers be able to review this too?
Yes.
Because that's that.
They'll all have specific logins that they can
Okay.
review this.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll also eliminate the time that she's spending on the phone calling into Paychex.
Okay.
So that'll save a lot of time for you. It'll make your system a lot easier. We'll be able to streamline that process for
Okay.
you. So,
I'm waiting for a big price to come out of your presentation here.
okay, well, let me talk to you about price, actually. We're really reasonably priced. That's something that our customers really like about us.
Yeah.
You said you're paying about $12,000 per year. And so you're processing payroll every 2 weeks, is
That's
that
right.
correct? So that means you're going to have 78 paychecks per year, or 7,800 paychecks per year.
Wow, that was a pretty quick computation there.
Yeah, I kind of know the average of with the 300
Okay.
employees we saw from our CRM system.
Okay.
So 12,000 per year divided by 7,800. So that's $1.53 you're paying per check.
Okay.
And we actually charge $1.66 per check.
See, I told you.
So we are a little more expensive.
Yeah.
And like you said, you were at $12,000 per year, and we're going to be at $13,000 per year.
Can I get that price from you today? Close the deal?
The $1.53?
Yeah.
I won't be able to do that for you, but let me show you how we're actually going to make you more money than that.
Okay.
So it's $1,000 difference between what you're paying now and what ADP is.
Okay.
So we're going to save you, you said Patty's working about 4 hours a week on this?
Yep.
I think I can
Yeah,
cut
that's
this down to an hour a week
Wow.
by using the system. Wouldn't you say she'd be able to spend about an hour a week on this if all she had to do is approve employee payroll instead of sitting on the phone?
Yeah, she's still doing the computer input because you have to do that using QuickBooks. You know, it's part of the accounting system. So,
But on payroll?
yeah, but on the not having to make the call in on the phone and not, you know, if we can eliminate the manager to her relationship and can eliminate some of the employee hassles that are involved, it might be that much.
Okay.
You know, I'm kind of depending on you for this hourly estimation here.
Okay, well, and we're also thinking that we'd be able to cut the manager's time out of payroll because they'll still have to spend time on scheduling.
Yeah.
But you said the hour was for payroll specifically?
Yeah.
So managers won't have to do that anymore because the hours will go directly from the employees to Patty.
Oh, okay.
The managers have access to that if they ever need to check anything,
Mm-hmm.
but they won't have to spend that hour anymore.
Okay. Okay.
So I have a little chart here. And if you were to spend...
It's one, yeah. You know, it's one thing for you to say that this is going to happen, but you know, do restaurants like me save money doing it this way? I mean,
Yeah,
really?
they do all the time, actually. I have a list of local customers. You might recognize some of these names. They're right down the street from you here.
Yeah.
Bob mentioned that he knows you pretty well.
Oh.
So if you were able to give them a call, I'm sure they'd tell you that this system has saved them a lot of money, and they would recommend me as a customer service rep. So if you were able to call them and talk to them, would that address some of your concerns about the system?
Perhaps it would. I'm a little concerned about that. So, well, go ahead with your hourly savings thing here. I'm seeing this big chart.
Okay. So if Patty is making about $25 per hour, which is about the average industry cost for a controller, and we're saving her 3 hours per week, that's going to save you $3,750 per year.
Just on the cost of her.
Just by cutting out those 3 hours per week.
That's kind of that kind of means that I'd have to use her for something else or lay her off a little bit, right?
Well, aren't there other revenue generating tasks that you could be using Patty for? I mean, something that would probably make her a little happier than just sitting on the phone for a couple hours.
Sure. Yeah, I could definitely use her with some of the food cost calculations, or even could spend some time having her provide some reports to me about payroll and labor hours and stuff like that.
And I'm sure that would make Patty happier as well. And if we also saved an hour on your managers, so let's say your managers are making about $25 an hour as well. Is that pretty close?
Yeah.
Okay. And if we saved them 1 hour per week, that's going to add another $1,250 to your savings.
Yeah.
So it's going to save you about $5,000 per year. So even if you pay the extra $1,000 per year to switch from Paychex to ADP, we're still making you $4,000 in additional revenue at the end of the year.
Are there any other switching costs for me in terms of getting set up and switching this over?
There aren't. We have a full implementation team, and they will come in and switch you over and set up all your employees and walk Patty and you through the entire process.
Wow.
So do you think we could get you signed up with ADP today?
I don't know about making this decision without Patty. The last time I did something like that, she really blew up. But I definitely see the reasons for doing this, but I think Patty's going to end up being the ultimate decision maker regarding this.
Okay. Well, if you do talk to some of these customers, I'm sure that'll address some of her concerns about customer service.
That'll give me an excuse to go to Sierra Nevada here in the next couple of days and talk to Bob. Yeah.
And I'm sure she'll find some value with the system. So should we set up maybe a meeting to meet with you and Patty sometime next week?
Yeah, sounds pretty good.
How does Monday at 2 work for you?
Monday at 2. Let me take a look here. Yeah, 2 o'clock would work, and I think it'll work for Patty as well.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I'll come in and meet with you at 2. I'll follow up with you the day before just to check.
Okay.
So thank you so much for meeting with me, James, and I look forward to talking to both of you next week.
Okay, thank you, Brittany.
Thank you.
Hi, well done.